was when she would have been heading home from the lodge meeting. Apparently, the two spoke to each other for a brief time, and then Teresa got off at her stop at St. Nicholas Cemetery. This specific witness said that he saw Nicholas get off at the stop after Teresa and then run back in the direction that she had been heading. The other witness went to night classes with Petrus, and he claimed that Petrus got on a specific trolley because he either suspected Teresa was on that trolley or saw her on that trolley and decided to board it. In another piece of incriminating evidence against Petrus was a knife found at the scene with a man's name on it. This man no longer lived in Aurora, Illinois, but he was found in nearby Chicago. He would claim that the knife had been stolen from him or went missing 3 years prior, and it was at a work site where he was co-workers with Anthony Petrus. In great contrast to this, Petrus's wife would tell the police that he was home by 9:40 p.m. that night, and nothing seemed amiss with him. His clothes were not disheveled, and he seemed as if he was in a normal mood. Petrus would be put on trial not once, but twice for the potential murder of Teresa Hollander. He was acquitted both times, and his last trial took place in October of 1914. was murdered, police were convinced that these killings had been done by the same person. The town was now on alert, and reports, if you look at the local papers in the months following this last incident, people were very much on alert. They would report any suspect behavior that they saw possibly happening with odd men, creepy men, to younger women. Emma's case, as I said, is the last of the three, and no more murder cases after this one in 1915 turn up that have a similar MO to these three. Now we can talk about theories. Unfortunately, there are not many, just some interesting afterthoughts and notes to point out. Yes, Anthony Petrus seemed like he could be fairly guilty based on the witness reports that were given. However, he was acquitted twice, and from the digging I did in the records about his trial and just details surrounding the case, there doesn't seem to be a lot of, I don't want to say credibility, but non-sensationalism around some of the witnesses that came forward to say what they said about him. That doesn't mean Petrus did not still have emotions for Hollander, Teresa Hollander, but there's the question of, was this random or were these women watched?